Hello everybody, good day to you guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's a nice, cool, chilly day here in sunny Florida. Got a 2013 Toyota, I believe it's a Corolla. Customer states that it's making a clicking noise only when driving in a straight line. Moving forward, slowish speeds, which is a little bit odd. Normally on a clicking noise complaint, we would take a look at like CV axles, and normally on a clicking noise complaint, we would, there you go. Normally those complaints come in while turning, which is often an indicator of the CV axle. We have a constant velocity joint there and another constant velocity joint there. The reason those are called CV axles is on a traditional drive shaft or slash propeller shaft that has a universal joint, just that little plus bearing joint in there. When those joints are articulated between the two sides, as those joints rotate through that angular articulation, you'll have like a sine wave of speed differences at the shaft ears. So as it turns, that shaft is actually speeding up and slowing down, speeding up and slowing down, and it changes the input and output velocities, that's the rotational speed of the drive shaft. So these axles here, there's a three-way bearing inside, not a four-way bearing, and that allows for constant speed without that without that sine wave pattern of speed variations between the shaft. Now that's an entire subject that could be dedicated to an entire video, and I'm not going to go into that kind of depth because I'm not that type of scientist. So what we're here to do today is just to try to figure out what's making that clicking noise. I don't believe that it is a CV axle that is making the clicking noise because it is a straight line complaint only, and we were not finding any noise going in a straight line or turning for that matter while we drove it. So we're down here under the vehicle now with it raised and supported on the lift, and we're going to visually inspect for items that could make a clicking noise while driving forward at slow speed. Now, not to dismiss the easy low-hanging fruit, but it's best to start at things that are most obvious, which is tires. So for example, if we had a bolt sticking out of one of these tires, as that tire rotates and makes its way around to the pavement surfaces, you'll hear an interaction between the bolt or the screw or whatever and the concrete and asphalt and or tarmac. So what we're gonna do is just visually inspect these tires. We will start at the valve stem. That's gonna be our reference point. And we're just gonna rotate that tire, looking around, and we're looking for, like I said, a bolt or a piece of metal or some kind of foreign object in the tire tread, which we have made our way past the valve stem. That's no good. We've got to do our due diligence. It's not always a part that has failed. It could be, well, anything really, and we have to look for that. Another possibility that we had to consider is that it's a cold day, and on a cold day, if the AC would be turned on, there's a chance that the compressor would cycle on, off quite quickly. And that cycling, which is not normally a thing here in Florida, that cycling could be the clicking noise that the customer has complained about. So we're gonna run the AC here in a minute, even though it's 41 degrees outside, and we're gonna see if we can't duplicate some kind of a clicking noise. See, the tactic always has to be is that we must address the customer's concern first, or at least make the best attempt possible to address the concern. It's called doing your due diligence, and that's what they pay us for. Okay, so after inspecting all four tires, I see no foreign objects in the tires. Let's just spin them. Nope, no clicking noise. No clicking noise there. Let's try the fronts. I hear some sound up front, but that's just gears in that differential right there. That's a normal clicking noise. Okay. Nothing here. Let's see here, nothing. Yeah, I hear some gears in that gearbox there moving around, but no clicking noise that is abnormal. So let's take a look at other things on suspension that move around and articulate. We could have a failed bushing that may be making a clicking noise, and I think actually we got one. All right, hang on a sec. Let's pull a wheel off real fast, or both, or all, and do a wheel off inspection next. See, I will probably find some kind of a defect here, but what we can't do in the service business is take a car in that came in with a complaint and then locate a defect and then just move towards selling the repair for that defect, because then we've glossed over why it's even here to begin with. So we've defeated the purpose of the visit. So we have to address what the customer's visit is. So keeping that in mind, everything we expect has to be under the lens of we are looking for a clicking noise. Does that make sense? Good. So let's fetch some tools. By the way, I got some decor hung up in the shop. Moved the Chevrolet sign from the other stop. I moved the Amsoil and the Power Stroke sign over there. And Chuck and Linda got us a new banner. They put our faces on it, which is absolutely hilarious. And then I got my Banks goodies over there, and of course my D-Max flag, because I love my D-Max flag. So I got my Amsoil, got my Banks stuff, got my stuff, got some Chevrolet stuff. I think it's looking pretty good in here. We may end up putting banners on that whole chain link fence business up there. And I also think on that chain link, I should use that for some real estate to hang some parts, like all of our cool parts. We can put those on display up there for all to see. I think that would be super nice. Anyway, let's get back on track. I gotta pull the wheels off of this unit and let's do some more inspecting. Okay, all 4 wheels are going to be removed for this inspection, NASCAR style. Circumnavigating a Toyota. There we go. Here, you guys just stay right here. I'll go back and get those other ones. Just wait right there if you don't mind, please. Thank you. Yep. Drum brakes, huh? We got some drummies out back. Good old drummies. Regular disc in the front, very good. One more wheel to go. Uncircumnavigating supercharger. Here, you guys wait right here. Drop my nuts. I found the clicking noise. Wheel weight. That's very potentially clicking noise. Wheel weight moving around. Let's try to hammer it back on. I think that actually might have been it. Let us locate a linear impact driver. We'll use the claw.
Nothing can stop the claw!
What I want to see, did you guys see that? Number one, the wheel weight fell off when I dropped the tire. It's not supposed to happen. What I'm wondering is if it's sliding. Probably not. No, not sliding. Now I need to figure out where it went, because this tire is now out of balance. That's awesome. Definitely came from the outside. And this wheel weight, it went right here. There's the witness marks for it right there. That's where it went. We're gonna put it back. I think that's where it went, but now we need to balance it. Okay, I don't, maybe that might not have been it. Close, potentially close. Yeah, that's the wrong weight, look at that. Oh yeah, totally the wrong weight. These are for aluminum lipped wheels. This is a steel wheel, so we're supposed to use the color code black or gray. This is going to be a yellow color code weight, which does not go on the car. So the tire people put the wrong wheel weights on it. That's an issue. Could be the clicking noise. Okay. There is no weight on the inside except for one little 10-gram clip-on. Let's see here. That one, also the wrong weight, but seems to be affixed. This one, wrong weight. See the gaps in there on that little lip. Let me bounce this and make sure that, oh, gravity. Make sure that there's no like tire sensor flopping around inside making noise. Nope, none of that. Okay. Well, let's pull the drums off the rear. Take a look at the drum brakes next, I suppose. Bigger linear impact driver. Yeah, in all seriousness, claw hammers really have no business in an automotive shop. It's just not the right hammer, and you shouldn't be using it. We use these. Ball peens, dead blows. There's a rust bond between the hub and the drum. I'm trying to vibrate this and break that rust bond loose. Pop. A bit of brake dust in there. Don't breathe it. It's not great to breathe. Let's go on around here. What? There's no fighting in baseball. Same thing, bit of dust. Nothing really clicking here. Now I did hear these shoes squeaking against the backing plate while the brakes are being actuated. That's kind of normal because there is metal-to-metal contact like here, 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 and here between the shoe and backing plate, and they are held on by spring pressure. So it is slightly normal to, bit of pad right there, to have that squeaking, but it's also an indicator that the shoes themselves have worn down, because if the shoes wear and the self-adjusting mechanism never managed to adjust the brake shoes out, which is pretty common actually, then there's going to be extra play or extra travel time rather in the shoes as they expand to make contact with the inside of the drum, and you'll hear that squeak as that expansion occurs. You'll also hear the springs moving around some, so you can get some noises out of drum brakes. This one, I have to recommend that we replace the shoes because this one shoe has broken apart. We saw that. So that's going to make squealy noises while driving. And it's also going to aggressively wear away this edge and cause extra dust. And at some point, it could delaminate this entire shoe from its backing plate. We're getting a little bit thin here. Nothing super critical because drum brakes tend to run thin anyway. But due to the condition of this friction material, I would be suggesting that we replace at least the friction material. Now, this is the brake cylinder. That's a hydraulic cylinder. So the hydraulic line is going to come into it. When you apply brake pedal pressure, it's going to send pressurized fluid into this cylinder. This cylinder here has two opposing pistons, one here and one over here. Those pistons will act against the shoes, pushing them apart and making contact with the inner diameter of the rotor right here. So that's in a nutshell how they work. What I'm doing right here is peeling back these dust boots, and we're looking for brake fluid in there, which we see none. So I'm checking for leaks at the cylinders themselves. Oftentimes these things will leak, and then the boot will just hold on to all the fluid, and you'll not realize it until the seal breaks at the boot, then it all dumps out, and then you dump brake fluid on everything. So we like to catch these early. There's a little bit of moisture in there. It's probably condensation though. I do not believe it is brake fluid. Check this guy. Survey says we're good. Yeah, when I was a trainee back in the day, I was walking around with a guy doing a brake inspection, and he took his pocket screwdriver and flipped this over. A bunch of fluid dumped out. And he's like, oh, needs brake shoes and needs shoes and drums and cylinders. And I was like, but you just made it leak. Like, I thought that this was supposed to contain all the fluid, and I thought he had actually caused the leak. I was just ignorant, didn't know that the leak was internal and it was just collecting under that boot. So if you see it under that boot, you need to put some cylinders on pronto. So anyway, I see nothing in here that could cause a clicking noise. Well, that is a definitive cause of the clicking noise. No, that's good. Bearing looks good. Let's turn these with no wheels on them, see what happens. I don't hear anything. All right. Let's, flashlight. Let's inspect our friction material up here. We've got good shoes. Sorry, pads in the front. The inboard pad looks good. Inside of the rotor looks pretty decent from here. And similar on that side. Okay, I don't think we have a brake issue on the fronts. And right there, we have failed control arm bushings. That one's tearing pretty bad right there. That's a failed bushing, but also not definitively the clicking noise. It could be, but unconfirmed. That one is torn also. On the right-hand side, 3 o'clock, we've got a tear. See it right there? Right back here, right above my fingertip. Now you can see, there it is. Okay, so we do need to replace 2 control arms on this unit. Struts look good, strut plates. Bushings are all right. Sway bar looks okay. The links. Sway bar bushings, that's good. Yeah, I'm gonna recommend we replace the control arms on this. I recommend that we do a set of rear shoes. I'll leave the drums alone, they can stay, but I just want to do a pair of shoes out back. And I guess that would be the recommendation. Then we can give it back to him at that point and see if we manage to fix his clicking noise or not. I can't tell if that's actually it. And like I said, we drove it a little bit. I drove it, Dave drove it, and neither of us could duplicate the noise. So our next best thing is just visual inspection and be thorough. Okie dokie. So I just got finished making an estimate here for some repairs, and we're gonna go ahead and proceed, but my estimate looked a little kind of crazy. They were asking for like 7 hours to replace these control arms. And I came back and took a look and I said, oh, look what we did here. The bolts for that front mount area interfere with the oil filter housing. And on this side over here, the bolts run into the transmission. See that bolt right there? That's got to come out. That bolt's about 8 inches long, maybe 6 inches. So that's got to come out to here for it to come out. So what they wanted us to do is remove engine mounts and then raise and support the engine in order to clearance these bolts so they can come out to get a hold of these control arms. We're not going to do that. I have a better idea. My better idea is to charge less than half of what the book time said and just go around that. Instead of moving it out of the way, let's just go around it, because it's real easy to take loose 1, 2, 3, and where's that other one? 4, it's up there somewhere. Maybe 5, maybe 6, 7 bolts for the subframe. and then let the subframe sag down some. We only need 1.5 inches maybe. Let the subframe come down and hinge this way, then we can squeeze that bolt out. So I am not gonna charge book time on this. We're gonna save everybody some money, and I'm gonna get the sale by not overcharging according to the book time. That's why it's a labor guide. It's just a guide, not a this is what it is. Most of the time it is what it is, but sometimes it's incorrect according to the engine nerds, and this is one of those times. So we're gonna go around these obstacles. The way I'm gonna do this, if we take a look at the ball joint right here, we've got to figure out how to make this stud and the ball joint press out of this part of the knuckle right there. Normally we would just kind of whack it with a hammer and press it out. But this one, there's an axle in the way. So we're gonna go around that too. We're gonna go around it because this particular ball joint assembly is bolted on. See that? So we pull those 3 bolts out, we can get the control arm out of the way. Gives us more space to work on the ball joint stud in order to extract it. And that's the way I want to do that. Okay, so we have 3, count them, 3 17mm fasteners here. 1 bolt, 2 nuts. Slippage. Yeah, 1 bolt, 2 nuts. Nice trifecta of hardware right there. So put that off to the side. Let's see, those are gonna be, I think, 19s, not 17s. Yipper. So we got 1 bolt here for the rear control arm bushing. That's our failed bushing, right? It's got a nut on it, apparently, because it's spinning. This bolt is the control arm to the unibody. We're gonna take that loose, leave it in there, because we need to just hinge this thing down. We don't need to remove it entirely. So right. Up top and out back, there is a nut on there. So let's just stick a wrench on it. That'll hang on to it. Grab the tool assembly over here. Reaching up, getting a hold of that wrench so it can't spin. Here's my nut. Now watch this. We'll take the open end of the wrench, pull down on this. Nasty. Okay, so since we have to do both sides equally, and we have the tools out in hand, let's go ahead and pull the fasteners on this side. That's our ball joint. There we go. And then, ding, lost my thing here. Wrench. There you go. Loose. Okay, subframe moved a little bit. I'm gonna leave that in so it can't fall out and kill me. And gravity. Now, what we shall do is, let me move you guys over here. Right up there, just past that axle. You might not be able to see it. That's our front fastener for the subframe. It's gonna be loose, but I'm gonna leave it in. Over on this side here, I'll pull that same bolt loose. That should be dropping the subframe assembly down enough to clear these bolts here. And it did not move. Okay, so we've got one right here. Let's pull that guy out. That's a 17, I believe. Well, actually, I'm mistaken. See, that right there, that's a piece of motor mount. I'll show you guys back here. That's a motor mount. See that guy? Attaching to the back of the engine / transmission area right here. That mount appears to be hanging on to it. So what I'm going to do is take off 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 2 more up in there. We're going to take those fasteners out and remove that mount from its bracket, and then I think then the subframe comes down. I believe so. Got 14 here. Yeah. Let's see what this does. Is there a nut on this? No. Yeah, that didn't reach either. Okay, longer socket. Let's try a deep one. Oh, that didn't sound good, did it, Dave? Okay, fun. So there's a stud that presses through on that like a wheel stud, and that stud is now spinning in the plate bracket. So that changes, that just changes what I was trying to do. Yeah, let me show you. So, illumination, no. This guy right here, that thing is spinning when I turn the nut. Yeah. There's another one right there on the left. There's supposed to be little splines in there that prevent that from happening, but those seem to have rusted through. That's really cute. Okay. Pry bar. Never mind. Pry bar, nothing. We're getting out the dead man. I'm gonna lift up the engine, flex the mounts, and then hopefully we're gonna get clearance on those bolts. This is now annoying me. Green subscribe button. Moving on up. 2 clicks on the lock. There we go. Yeah, they call this the dead man, the one-armed bandit, the jack stand. It has many, many names. I like one-armed bandit. I don't know why, but it's cute if you call it the bandit. What'd you say, Chris? The lonely amigo? The lonely amigo. The amigo! We're gonna put it right here under the transmission. So the idea is we're gonna pick this up, this thing stays, subframe will stay, and then we can just gain clearance here, those bolts. Is that gonna work, or am I gonna pick the car up off the rack? I'm gonna pick the car up off the rack. That one's moving. A little bit of space on that one. All right, let's, pry bar. Yeah, pry bar, that's where I started, right? Let's see what happens if I push the transmission up. We have flex. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's working. All right, moment of truth here. If I can do this without breaking oil filters, and if that socket's gonna fit on here, I think I can push this engine up just a wee bit with some pry bar here, and I should be able to slip a socket. No, not like that. Try to extension to clear the housing of the gun. Let's try this. I think this will work, and I think I've done it this way before, once or twice, I think. Let's see what happens here. It's not the straightest fit, but maybe. Yeah. That did not work like I wanted it to. So, bear with me, y'all. Hang on, I have an idea. What if I break it loose with a wrench? Okay, that's not wanting to turn. Now I'm getting concerned. I need longer ratchet with a little bit more offset so I can hang off this a little bit. This is gonna work. I hear, oh bad. I hear the bushing in there, spinning. Oh, Oh, this is not good. Yeah, listen to this. I'm putting my microphone right here. You guys will be able to hear that bushing in there spinning. Hear that? So the bushing, here, let me show you. I've got a new part here. I'll show you what's going on. This is not good at all. Okay, so pry and open the box here. This is the bushing that's affected that we're working on. What I think has happened is that the metal insert has rusted to the bolt, and this metal insert is spinning inside of the bushing, and the bushing has torn away. So it's just in there kind of spinning around. The problem with that is if that bolt does not break free from that insert, then the insert is going to capture the bolt in the subframe because that insert is larger than that bolt hole. And this is fully captured in there, like completely. There's no access to go in there to do any kind of work whatsoever. This is highly concerning. And now I'm regretting not billing seven hours for this. Oh. Yeah, I have a problem. I got a big problem. No, I got a control arm bushing rusted to the bolt inside of a captured piece of frame. Yeah. Ugh. My only hope is that there's enough thread where I can unback the thread or back the threads out, and it's going to pull that bolt out of the center insert of the bushing. That's my only hope here. Otherwise, I'm going to have to sawzall into a subframe and then take it all apart, or sawzall the bolt off and then get another bolt. Yeah, I'm a little concerned here about this. Woo! We're getting serious now. I've got my Hardee's on. Not sponsored, that's just what I have. I don't know what that means, but it's something. Those are good noises, maybe? Oh. Whew. Okay, time to throw some lube on it. Well, if we didn't have a problem slash mess going now, we're gonna have an oily problem slash mess. Squirt that, give it some sloppy squirts. All right, quit making all the noises. Whew. You guys are hearing me breathing heavy. It's not good. Come on, you. Wow. This is a workout. Check this out. Stiff armed. I don't know. I think it's working. I think. Whew. I mean, we're getting some space behind it. It appears to be working. Okay, I've relocated our one-armed Amigo here. It's right here on this oil pan lip. It should not slide out anywhere, and I know I know that if I pick the car up off the lift from here, from the oil pan, I should be able to get clearance on that bolt. I'm gonna hit it with a gun pretty soon, a little bit more up. Oh, you don't want to give it back to me. That's even better. More cuter-er. Here. There we go. Okay, so that bolt's kind of exposed, right? Let's give it some more squirts real quick. That's good. It's got some runs going too. Not great. All right, Hail Mary time. Or not. New battery time. All right, this is the Anvil breaking battery. That's a 12 amp hour. This will decimate all. Except for that. Don't say put crayons on it. Don't tell me. Not putting crayons on it. Big ratchet. More leverage. Manual destruction. There's zero other alternative. Did I just pronounce alternative correctly by accident? I did. Alternative. I tried to make a goober word out of it, and I actually pronounced it grammatically and grammatically correct. It was perfect. Alternative. I pronounced every syllable. Alternative. My alternative career should have been an astronaut. Ah! You. I just wore out that socket. That's awesome. Gravity. They're laughing at me over there. This is not going well. Let me show you what just happened. I just did something that I have never seen happen before. I've never done it. I did not think this was possible, but it happened, and I'm in big. So my theory on the bolt was correct. There was enough thread on the back of that bolt to start pulling on the bushing insert on the control arm, and the bushing insert was in fact making contact with this piece of the subframe. And what it did was it pulled that insert right through the bolt hole. You guys see that? See that little corrugated starry looking business right there? That thing chopped its way through the subframe. It actually mushroomed the subframe out, split the thing wide open, and it was beginning to yank the bolt through the subframe. So the subframe is junk. I just destroyed this vehicle's subframe. So now I need to remove it and replace it. So that 3 hours, I don't know if, I don't even know. All I know now is I got to put a subframe in this. So, yeah, didn't see that coming. This was an easy job, and now it's a hard job. And to make it even harder, I have to pull that back motor torque mount business loose back there. And if you guys remember from not long ago, that fastener there is spinning because that stud right there won't let go. So now I'm digging out the welder because I have to go in through here, weld that stud to the plate to try to get that nut to come out. Then I can take that mount off, and then we can start disassembling the steering gear and the everything to get the subframe to come out, because I gotta replace the subframe now, because that cannot even go back together. I can't just put this together and walk away and say, nope, we're committed now. It's got to get fixed, and I have to do it. So we're gonna fire up the welder. Didn't see that coming today. Weld that stud on, and then try to get the nut out. Here we go. And just to make this a real challenge, my other welder is not here yet because I didn't think we needed a welder just yet. So I've got to weld that together with a stick welder, and my mask is not here either. And the welder doesn't turn on. That's not the on switch. Oh, I'm losing it. That's the MIG switch. Hang on here. There we go. So yeah, now I have to try to stick weld that with only half a stick because I have no sticks here. Let's see what happens. Well, I'll be coming in through this hole right here and be, hang on. All right, round two. So what I've got to do is reach in through this hole, get that stick welder onto that stud right there, weld that stud to this bracket without welding the whole thing to this subframe right here, and then try to spin the thing loose. That's the idea, with no protection and no helmet. So I'm gonna be doing this blind. Oh, I don't know, I might need to get my other welder out. This is not gonna work. So hot. Let's see if I can't get that stick back there. Close. We're gonna get it. Come on, you. All right, listen. This is gonna be hard. I need to set you guys down somewhere else. Yeah. Think I got it. Whew. Pretty sure I got it. All right, let's go back and check the handiwork. Nope, didn't get it. Close. But all right, I gave it a round two. Still not enough. All right, one more, get in there. Not looking at it. That might have been it. Let's see, I wasn't looking at it. I had my eyeballs closed. Got it. All right. I needed that win. Yeah, that was effective. There. Yeah, I definitely needed that win right there. Okay. Let's shut the welder down. Should be one more of those little guys. I already got that one, didn't I? Let's get that one out. Why not? Cool. There. Whew. So okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and pull the power steering gear bolts, the rack and pinion bolts out. There's two on this side 2 over on the other side. I'm gonna go in with an 18 right here. Here's one. And then the other right next to it. So we're gonna use an 18 millimeter on a 90-degree impact gun. That should go right around this little obstruction there. Good, that one came out. Next one came right out. Excellent. So that's half of, ding, it's gonna be half of our steering gear. Let's go around to the other side, driver's side. There's one of them. So we'll squeeze the 90 in the hole. It's not gonna fit. Not gonna fit. Come on, you. Got it. Then the front one. I can't get to the front one. It's far away. I need an extension of some sort. All right. So I have it in way back yonder. And then the bolt, I can't even reach it. You guys can't see, I can't feel. Yeah, no. Whew, that's a tight squeeze in there. That's super tight. Let's try it from the bottom here. Oh, there she is. I have you. Yeah, should have just thrown it right on the ground. Let's check and see if that rear motor mount has any more fasteners. And the survey says it's coming loose. We know the subframe is now loose, so we have to take off this front bit of subframe thing right here. So we got 2 bolts, that thing that runs through, probably some more up top. So I imagine this part of the subframe is going to come down with that part, and then I'll transfer the pieces over. So, let's see, there's a motor mount right here, motor mount bolt here and here. That's for that mount right there. So let's take those 2 guys out. And so now the mount is loose. I'm gonna pull these ones loose. I don't know if that mount is holding any weight. I think it is. So I'm gonna move the dead man, the Amigo. There we go. So with the Amigo here in the middle of the engine, I'll put some up pressure on it. I think that mount up there and the one over there is enough to hold the weight, but we don't want engines falling out on top of us. That would be bad, right? Safety. Okay. I think that's good. Yeah, we can take it down. Yep, subframe's about to fall out of here. So we got both control arms off at the ball joints either side, right? The 2 bolts holding it up. I'm gonna go get the transmission jack to hold on to some of this weight because I'm now here by myself. And we're gonna put the jack under there, take the weight of the subframe, pull the 4 remaining bolts loose, and drop her out. The transmission jack is now under the subframe. I'm gonna jack it up and put pressure against the bottom of the vehicle against the subframe. That way the subframe can't go anywhere and I can go back in and start pulling all the bolts out. soon as I get the right size fastener in place. Okay, 19 millimeter. Redo with a different socket. It looks the same, but it's not. So front bolt, rear bolt, and we'll just leave those right here on their side. I'm gonna rolly chair myself right over. Get that one. Those sway bar bolts that are up there and in the back, I got those already when you guys were not looking. Okay, this should be the last one right here. Good thing that guy didn't break off in the body. We would be cutting holes in it to fix it. So, I believe the subframe is free. We're unbolted here. The mount's hanging, got the plastics removed. Engine is supported. Let's let this down and see what the engine does. It comes down a little bit. We're gonna leave that alone for now. All right, so next, we can let this jack down ever so slightly. Okay, subframe's moving. It has stopped. I think it's kind of free floating here. Yeah, it's just hanging out. Okay, I need to put you guys kind of far away, and I'm gonna let this thing come down. Let us see if this is a smart idea. Usually with things such as this, you're kind of better off having a helpy helper do the helpy helping. I don't have one of those right now, so we're riding solo. As long as I can maintain my sense of control over this, I think we're all right. And I feel confident that this is manageable. Yeah. Very good. Okay, come on down. All right, she's down. So let's go and take ourselves a peek at the destruction that I caused. Not much to look at. Huh? Yeah, let's get some light in here. So this right here, that's our insert inside of this rubber bushing right there. That insert is rusted to this bolt right here. So when that bolt was turning, it was turning that insert against the rubber inside. That was all those that we felt. It's not supposed to be doing that. So when I was sitting here wrenching on this, twisting this out, the threads were pushing away from whatever nut is welded inside of this structure here. It was pushing the bolt away. But since the bolt is rusted to the little dealio there, what it did is it just rotated this, kept putting steady pressure on it, and every time I turned, it was ballooning out and splitting the steel until ultimately it pulled that entire insert through this piece of steel here on the subframe. So I broke it for sure. The only way to really have gotten that out would be to go in there and cut the fastener. But due to the captured nature of this, that was never going to happen anyway. So this job was doomed from the beginning. It truly was. There was no getting around it. So I really see no reason to disassemble this any further. The only thing I need to do is collect this front subframe business right here off of the rear subframe and maybe collect that bolt out of it. So I don't have a subframe, so I think I'm about donezo here. There's nothing else for me to do on this. The rack is on the locks, right? So that's secure. The engine's supported. We've got one mount right there. And there's another mount on the other side on the transmission to actually hold on to all the weight. You see it right up there. There she is, all the way back. So it can't fall out. So I think we're nice and safe and stable here. Plus the Amigo Bandit has some of the weight. Why do you keep texting me? The Amigo's got some of the weight. I guess we're just at a standstill until I get that replacement guy. We had to call up a junkyard and order one. That was fun. So they're pulling one out right now, and I hope the bolts come out. If not, I'm in trouble, and we'll have to cross that bridge, I guess, when we get there. So that being said, I think I have nothing more to offer you on this particular video other than a thank you, as always, for watching this video. Let me know what you think about my automatic self-destruction of this entire job. No good deed goes unpunished, I suppose, but we're gonna get it fixed and we're gonna get it right for the customer, because I am in the customer service business here at Ray's Auto Clinic in Bradenton, Florida. So that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one, which is probably gonna be this one, because tomorrow I'm gonna get a subframe, then we're gonna work on patching this thing back together and getting those new control arms installed in this vehicle. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Appreciate you being here. Have yourselves a fantastic day. I'm going home. There it is. We have a new one. Check it out. That is the new used subframe with non-destroyed bolts for the control arm. So that all can stay there. This thing goes back up in there. We bolt her back in, and then I can finally get those control arms installed. Thank you for watching all of that super high speed lightning fast motion repair on the remainder of this. I didn't feel it was worthy to run a second video just to put that thing back in. So I think that the best part was when I realized how badly I had ruined the other subframe. But I made it right. We put a new one in there. Cost me a bunch of time, which is unfortunate, but that's the nature of the business on occasion. So this guy's bolted in, bolted in, bolted in, bolted in, bolted in. Here, 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 here. Everything up top. These guys, that cross member, the push pins are back. That's in that one. The one's up top right there, sway bars on, and most importantly, the power steering gear is in position. So I have nothing more to offer you on this particular Corolla at this time. We need to put the wheels back on it tomorrow morning, drive it over to the alignment machine, do the wheel suspension geometric realignment procedure, and then we're gonna call this one good. So that being said, I'm closing it out for real this time. See you guys later. Thanks for watching. End of video, end of transmission.